In 2009, the NAACP established the first ever GLBT task force. As civil rights activists march into the 21st century, it was undeniable that new issues have emerged in the public debate: environmental justice, immigration, and LGBT rights. As a thoughtful leader in the civil rights field, it's critical that the NAACP have an understanding of these issues. The task force serves as an internal working group created to explore and examine the complex conditions and public policies facing these communities, with an emphasis on issues and concerns facing Black LGBT communities. Together with my co-chair, California State President Alice Huffman, who is presiding over another session in an adjacent room here and can't be with us for that reason, we established the task force, the first of its kind in any major civil rights organization, as a working group to better understand the concerns affecting LGBT communities and their obvious relationship to the larger struggle for civil rights. The task force has worked toward the following goals. Number one, strengthening the NAACP's knowledge of LGBT issues and policies, building relationships among civil and human rights organizations that focus on LGBT strategy and advocacy, and advancing awareness of LGBT issues as they relate to the overarching programs and interests of the NAACP. As NAACP CEO Ben Jealous recently said, Black members of the LGBT community share a common history and continued struggle to address issues of bigotry, yet their identities, talents, and leadership are oftentimes diminished because of homophobia and fear of physical violence. It is important that we address these issues head on. We know that within Black America, and even within the NAACP, there are differences of opinion on this subject, but there can be no disagreement over our determination to eliminate prejudice and discrimination wherever they exist, from our community and from the nation. And there can be no doubt that the NAACP is dedicated to that board. 6 years ago, the board of directors of the NAACP affirmed that the NAACP shall pursue all legal and constitutional means to support non-discriminatory policies and practices against persons based on race, gender, sexual orientation, nationality, and cultural background. We know sexual orientation is not a choice. We know homosexuality is not a mental illness. We know you can't pray the gay away. We know the great bulk of scientific opinion is that sexual orientation is fixed, immutable, and unchangeable. And we know that Black lesbians, Black gay men, Black bisexual people, Black transgender people suffer a level of discrimination and harassment far beyond the level felt by straight Black women and men. If you disagree, or if your Bible tells you that gay people ought not be married in your church, don't tell them they can't be married at City Hall. Marriage is a civil right, that's R-I-T-E, as well as a civil right, that's R-I-G-H-T. And we can't let religious bigotry close the door to justice to anyone. So when I'm asked, are gay rights civil rights, my answer is always, of course they are. Civil rights are positive legal prerogatives, the right to equal treatment before the law. These are rights shared by everyone. There's no one in the United States who does not or should not share in enjoying these rights. Gay and lesbian rights are not special rights in any way. It isn't special to be free from discrimination. It is an ordinary universal entitlement of citizenship. The right not to be discriminated against is a commonplace claim we all expect to enjoy under our laws and our founding document. That many had to struggle to gain those rights makes them precious. It doesn't make them special, and it does not reserve them only for me or restrict them from others. When others gain these rights, my rights are not diminished in any way. My rights are not diluted when my neighbor enjoys protection from discrimination. He or she becomes my ally in defending the rights all of us share. For some people, comparisons between the African American civil rights movement and the movement for gay and lesbian rights seems to diminish the long Black historical struggle with all of its suffering, sacrifices, and endless toil. People of color, however, ought to be flattered that our movement has provided so much inspiration for others, that has been so widely imitated, and that our tactics, methods, heroes, and heroines, even our songs, have been appropriated or served as models for others. No parallel between movements is exact. African Americans are the only Americans who were enslaved for more than 2 centuries, and people of color carry the badge of who we are on our faces. But we are far from the only people suffering from discrimination. Sadly, so do many others. They deserve the law's protections and civil rights too. Sexual disposition parallels race. I was born Black and had no choice. I could not and would not change it if I could. Like race, Our sexuality isn't a preference. It is immutable, unchangeable, and the Constitution protects us all from prejudices and discrimination based on immutable differences. Many gays and lesbians worked side by side with me in the 1960s civil rights movement. Am I to now tell them thanks for risking life and limb helping me win my rights, but they're excluded because of a condition of their birth? That they can't share the victories they helped to win? That having accepted and embraced them as partners in a common struggle, I can now turn my back on them and deny them the rights they helped me win that I now enjoy because of them? Not a chance. In addition to Alice Huffman and myself, the LGBT task force includes ongoing participation from NAACP board members, including Dr. David Goatley, Willis Edwards, who's sitting in the front row. Stand up, Willis, so we can all see you. Adora Obi Nwezi, Leon Russell, Hazel Dukes, the Reverend Amos Brown, Bob Lydia, Roy Williams. We're proud of their service, and we hope you will enjoy today's program and come away with a better understanding of the issues and problems a section of our community face. Thank you for your attention.